Hey everybody, and welcome back to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. Today's one is just going to be complicated. I know it sounds weird, chocolate salami or whatever. It's just supposed to look like that. My recipe's a little harder to do than I thought, so let's see how this turns out. Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, ring bell, and that corner to get notifications when we do this as close to Tuesdays and Fridays as we can. You can also, down in the doobly-doo, this recipe just makes me laugh. I hope you saw the thumb. Is a link to our merch site where we have our aprons and pots and pot holders, not pots. Man, I'd love to have an old line of pots, but so fake hand, spoon, spatula, flippers, that's all kind of stuff. Small business, we very much appreciate it. Let's just get into this hilarious mess. Alright, super simple. You're going to need almond bark. I got the chocolate stuff. I guess you can use any kind of almond bark. Try to break it as much as you can with the packaging. Helps it melt. I'm going to get some Biscoff cookies because they're perfect and they break down buttery perfect. Going to use you a plastic bag to do that, so remember to grab that as well. Going to need some wax paper, very important. It calls for walnuts, and this is Texas, so I got pecans. They're cheaper. I got them at like Walmart or something, so that's fine. It gives me a reason to use my mortar and pestle. Kind of mash them up just instead of sitting here look pretty. So that'll be cool. Also, you're going to want a rubber spatula. You can get one of ours down in the link in the doobly-doo. But, yeah, you're going to need that just to kind of scrape that out of that stuff. First things first, get you about half a package of the Biscoffs and put them in a plastic bag. And then you want to break them up. You can just break them up by hand. You can roll them around, whatever. Save the other half for tea or just late night with milk. It's perfect. Get you something and just mash a little bit of bejeebles out of your cookies here. You don't want to dust it. You want to leave it, just crumble it down. So don't beat it too bad, I guess. So that's the trick. It kind of the cookies are the biggest thing. They kind of leave the texture, make it look like salami when you cut it open later. So you don't want it too small. You don't want it just straight powder. So crumbles. Done. Same thing with your pecans. You can take them and mash them up, put them in a plastic bag, but I ran out of Ziploc bags, so that just makes a mess. So, like I was saying, I get to use my mortar and pestle. This will be fun. Just put it in here and you're just going to beat them down. Again, you don't want to just make paste out of it, so just give it a rough kind of grumble around with that stuff. Again, just put it in a bag and poke it if you feel like it. That should work fine. But just the mortar pestle, wiggle, and that oil helps in there. It kind of makes everything, a little bit smoother in there. I don't get to use my mortar and pestle very often, so I try to use that. Gotta get your evil witch laugh here while you're mashing stuff up. Always makes you feel like you're mashing a potion. Again, I just crumble. You don't need these too tiny. So you can kind of see them on my hand here, how the big size is here. A couple of big pieces down the bottom, so I'm mashing them up a little bit more. Get that? Throw them in there. Like I'm just putting them in the same thing as my crushed up cookies. You can separate them later, or you can leave them out. If you have somebody that's allergic to nuts, that's fine. Just leave that stuff out. That is completely up to you. Again, the cookies are up to you as well. Just any kind of hard cookie looks fine. Get your microsafe bowl that isn't orange. This one's white. I can't remember what the hell I put. It has like vinegar or something turned to bottom white. Try to break this up, like I said, in the package as best you can. You don't lose a lot of chocolate that way. We're gonna lose enough earlier or later with the melted chocolate. So try to save as much as you can. I don't ever try to use a knife, mostly just because it breaks really easy, and I'm terrified I'm going to tear a finger off or something that way. So it doesn't have to be too small. You just don't want the big giant block in there. So if you break it into the blocks that are melted on there, that's perfect. Doesn't have to be great. Again, this is the non-beauty part of this. This is a recipe that's going to make you laugh a few times if you're cooking this stuff. So, got your spatula, something to stir it here. Get you a microwave bowl that you can grab if you got to put something else in there. If you got a double boiler, you can use that. It's just 2 pots with water in between them, but I don't have that. So I'm using the microwave for 30 seconds, then 15 seconds at a time after that, okay? So, while you're putting it in for the first 30 seconds, get you some wax paper, roughly as wide as the sheet and long enough to just kind of overlap it. So I kind of made a little too much here, but I'm going to end up making it longer instead of wider. So that's just my trick here. Again, I don't have a 30-second limit, so I just hit start and it turns it on to 30 seconds. I ignore my dirty microwave. I was recently doing dishes and I just got everywhere. So you can see after 30 seconds, not much melted. After 45 seconds, a little bit of melts in here. You can kind of see where it's getting mush. This melts really quickly, but if you put it in there for the entire 45 seconds, it'll scald. It'll start getting hot, and burnt chocolate is horrible. So just 15 seconds at a time. You can see this one starting to get in there. There's still some chunks. So go ahead and do one more session of 15 seconds. Might have got a little too warm because you need to work it with it when it's starting to cool and solidify a little bit, and you'll see why here in a little bit. So again, 15 seconds, boom, that's in there. Give it a nice stir, and then just drop both the cookies and whatever nuts or just whatever cookies you got. Sorry about the focus there. Give it a nice stir and get everything coated. You try to keep as much air pockets out of it as you can. Just give it a stir, blah, 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 round and round. There you go. See, it took me like 2 minutes to get this nice. It still sounded like wet concrete as I was stirring it. So I apologize. I cut out a lot of that for you guys. I'm trying to keep it around 10 minutes. So get that done. Put your wax paper down. Now, I should let this cool a little more. So we're going to let it cool on the wax paper as it comes in here. I don't know what the trick is. I've only heard a few people to do this. And then Sylvia over on Instagram and TikTok showed me the recipe. And hers turned out kind of rough, so I'm trying to do that. So, but my problem is every time I try to roll it tries to run on the sides. Anybody who's ever made a taco when they're trying to make a burrito knows what the hell I'm talking about. So I realized that the ends were running out, so I ended up I just tried to roll it like a hand-rolled cigarette. That's what I'm looking for. So you just take the corners here and roll these up, but I was worried they'd come loose, so I found a couple of like bread bags, like the twist ties. So I roll that up, get that twist tie, put it on there. Bam, tie that down, and it keeps it from rolling out the ends. Now again, I should have waited a little more, but I'm very much impatient type person, so just get that, pull it apart here. Be careful with that wax paper. If it tears, it's going to go everywhere. And grab it in the middle, and you try to roll it, like just kind of roll it over the edge here. What you're trying to do is make a tube out of it, but if it's too warm, it won't stay in the circle, and if it's too cold, it'll be solid, won't roll. So the trick is to cool it down a little bit. Now, take this, you can put it on a plate or something. You find a plate and you kind of roll it like that. You're making a giant chocolate dube. So that's the thing. I put it in on a plate. I put it in the refrigerator for 2 minutes at the most, and it'll start to solidify pretty well. You put it in the freezer, it'll be too solid. That's exactly what I do. I was like, I'll just put it in the freezer for 2 minutes, and it was too solid. So I just put it on a plate or something with those corners kind of rolled up. And this is what we got. We got it out after 2 minutes. It was pretty solid. Boom, 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 right? Middle still liquid. As I'm pulling this part, it's hard to get all the wax paper because I rolled it and it got caught in the creases because it's not a perfect tube. There's got to be a material to do that, like a chocolate sausage casing or something. And when I got it off, I realized it looks like a giant poo. It wasn't exactly round and the ends come to a point, so I'm sorry. It's still kind of the same idea. Now, you're supposed to take this, slice it up, right, and serve it. It's almost like a chocolate cookie. You can serve it on top of your tea or whatever, and it kind of melts a little bit. But that's your thing. So I got a nice serrated edge on my bread knife. I'm going to try to cut that for us. So, kind of show us what we're doing. Just kind of hit in here, but somehow mine had air pockets in it. So it didn't cut straight through. I don't know where the hell the air pockets came from or how the hell that worked, but it did. Maybe the outside got solidified, whatever. But if you keep cutting, it breaks off into these big chunks here, and that's perfect. It's like a peanut brittle kind of deal. So I enjoyed that. It breaks off. It basically just chocolate-coated cookies at this point and making it serviceable. Be sure to cut it down so you're not like you're serving giant poo to anybody. So, yeah, that's what we ended up with. I will practice this again, but tell me how yours turns out, how you did it, how you got it to stay around, if there's a way to do that. There's got to be a trick to it, or just not being as impatient as I am. So I very much apologize for that. Keep it in a bag, keep it cool, because it'll warm up whatever. The almond bark is pretty good. It's better than most chocolates. It won't immediately start melting. So this works great. It's a little snack thing. It's, you can bag it up and give it to your friends for Halloween parties or holiday parties or whatever you're doing. So this works pretty well. You gotta try this. It's different. I really like the Biscoff stuff. I started getting it mostly because I'm a giant fan of England for some reason, and I love everything about it, and everybody always talks about these Biscoff cookies, so I got some. You could try it with just about any kind of cookie, I guess. I don't know if we could ever do it with like like an Oreo or something. But yeah, if you got any other ideas or better ideas to make way to make it the circle like that, let me know. I will revisit this. But until then, try it and tell me and show me how yours turned out. Show me pictures. I very much appreciate that. Okay, so there you have it. It works great. It's a snacky thing. It's like peanut butter put out on the table, whatever. Some people are able to make it perfectly round. I need a lot more practice. I can slice it, and that's why it looks like salami. This is more of a peanut brittle kind of thing, but the Biscoff cookies make it amazing. you do it differently, have tips on how I could do it, and I can revisit this on how fucking hard can it be. It's pretty hard, by the way. Let me know. We'll retry this. I'll revisit it. I have no problem. But this is really good. It's a nice little snack. If you're into the sugar stuff, I'm trying to cut it all out, so I'm just licking the spoon and going to give this to other people. So that'll be cool. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all, please, please, please follow us out there. We're on Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon, with all those. At Live Between Paychecks Kitchen, we're all on Instagram at Live Between. We had to shorten it down over there. Me, Oswald Nerdy. I'm on all of these, including Twitter, because I'm not calling it X, and over on TikTok, where I'm just generally talking about nerd stuff. I went and looked for the Halloween Boo buckets the other day. So that's the thing. I'll see y'all next time. This looks hilarious. I can't give a straight face. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all be safe, all right?